Hello, guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and you know what? You know me. I love a good event in the town. I think events, whether it's Beth Heath and Shropshire festivals, whether it's the 90s revival, whether it's music, whether it's food, whatever it is, I think it brings culture and it brings class to the town. And we're going to be talking about that with Peter Metcalf today. How are you, Peter? You good?
Hi. Hello. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, it's great to speak to you. We're coming to you today from Cups Coffee, which is just on top of Castle Street, next door to Dough and Oil. I had a meeting with Shane Chebsey, who's bringing Comic Salopia to Shrewsbury very soon, and he was like, "Oh, Cups Coffee are great. We're doing a few drink and draw things there, and they're really all for creators." And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll come here then." So this is where we are. So the hustle and bustle you hear is Shrewsbury. That's what they say. That's what that is. So, Peter, let's tell us a bit about yourself first before we get into what it really is to talk about. When it comes to events and things, is this something you've always done?
I started about 10 years ago. I ran a gym in Whitchurch, and then tragically lost my brother through cancer, and I wanted to do something to raise money for the Seven Hospice, who were great looking after him. So me and a couple of buddies put together a spin-a-thon. It started off quite a small event inside the gym, then we linked up at other gyms. Then we took over the town centre a few times and did a giant spin-a-thon in the square with about 60, 70 bikes, and we raised a lot of money. And from that, basically, I realised I really liked putting on events, and I thought, well, I'm going to do this maybe as a business alongside my other business. And then I realised, well, I think this is the life for me. So I sold up the gym, got out of the gym industry, and started in events full time, which was just before lockdown. So I was pretty dormant for a year and a half.
No, you wanted to be...
Yeah, but that comes and goes. I mean, I sold my gym before lockdown, so that was a win there.
I'm sorry to laugh as well, by the way, because that it's just very similar. I can relate so much. I'm sure so many people can. You start with so many plans, and then this big thing comes along and just ruins all your plans. Yeah. By the way, I'm taking pictures while we're doing this, and I'm with Timmy today. He doesn't have a microphone, but he's got headphones. He's drawing on a blackboard across the way. That's amazing. Great stuff. He's drawing on the blackboard. He's telling me what he did. The Shrewsbury Biscuit. Mini biscuit. Yeah, I see it. It's really good. Sorry about that. Taking over a town, though, when you something that means so much to you as well.
Yeah.
You're very much wearing your heart on your sleeve, right?
Yeah.
When it's something that's really personal to you like that, as opposed to something that isn't, is there a difference there? Is it kind of dangerous to play that game?
Oh no, the way I felt about it, I want to do something positive in memory of my brother. So it was, and I wanted to say thank you for the hospice. It was great.
Yeah.
And every year since that, I've always done some kind of event for the hospice. Last year I did a Christmas jumper run in the quarry where everybody got dressed up with a local choir singing, and that was to raise money. And I've never going to forget my roots. So I learnt the trade of events management through putting on charity events, and I'm going to be company policies, we're always going to be doing charity events, at least 2 a year. A few weeks ago we did the one for Ukraine in the quarry as well.
Oh yes, I heard about that.
And we raised over like £1,300. We only organised that in 2 weeks because it was on the news, and the people at Shrewsbury were great. They came and ran or walked or just donated money and volunteered to hand out water and being stewards and things like that.
I think that's one thing that's made me really proud recently of the community is how they've responded to the crisis in Ukraine.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's got together and shown support, and the families that have been brought up. It's just nice. It really is nice.
A couple of the stewards who volunteered to help were actually refugees. They were living with a Shrewsbury family, and they were really emotional that we all turned out in their country colours, and and then clapped and cheered them. They felt really supported, and it was really nice to see the people of Shrewsbury welcome them.
Amazing. But I am recording though, okay? So you can draw that, you can look at my phone, but leave me alone. This is what happens when you're the biscuit guy and a superstar dad as well. You got to do these two things at the same time. When it comes to events, you've got to start somewhere, obviously. And I guess with what sadly happened to your brother, that was a huge inspiration for you to get started, right?
Yeah, it was. And then I realised I enjoyed the hustle and bustle of putting things together. more than I actually like taking part in events.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because I've entered lots of runs. I used to compete in weightlifting competitions and always been very active. But as like a customer's point of view, but when you're in charge and you're the race director or whatever, you enjoy it from a different
It's seeing that vision come together, isn't it?
Yeah, it's having an idea, usually in the pub with a few beers, coming up with an idea, and then a few months later, you've got 200, 300, 400 people doing your idea, And that's how we came up with the idea with the zombie one at Hawkston. It was just me and mate Justin were having a laugh, having a few beers, discussing what we should do next. And,
So what was a zombie run again? Because I know there's loads of different variations of what this thing is.
Well, we take over Hawkston Park. Obviously, Hawkston is a beautiful venue to
huge
look around.
place.
Yeah. There's lots of caves and there's castles and there's fake monuments around there. It's quite spooky anyway, and it gets used for a lot of film sets. So we hire the venue, and we've hired about 30, 40 people dressed up as zombies. The runners or walkers, they have like lives around them, like three lives, like tag rugby, and they've got to make it through the course, and then the zombies basically jump out and scare the shit out of them. Pardon my French.
That's right.
And it's a great. They usually scream and then come back and have a selfie with the zombies. It's a great day. The costumes are amazing. We had guys dressed up in sniper suits coming out the grass, a bit like Toy Story. So it's a great. You don't have to be fit to do that event. A lot of people walk it. It's a nice, beautiful venue to do that event. So the zombie events was one of my first and still one of my favourite events. I mean, I remember standing giving a safety brief, all dressed up in zombie costumes, thinking, "Oh, this is my job. What a way to make a living." This is got out the 9 to 5, got out the rat race. I'm in a field just as a zombie in front of 200-300 people. It's amazing.
Sounds like my kind of event, actually. After working at the prison for so long, doing bits like we did zombie stuff. And one of the rules was you're not allowed to say boo. or you're fired. That sounds like great fun. And again, a lot of pressure to get it right.
Yeah, because I mean, it's fun, but they're customers and they want customer service. They want to enjoy the experience. I don't want anybody to come to my event feeling let down or shortchanged. It's all about them walking out of a place with a big smile on their face. Burn a few calories, and laughing and talking about it in the pub afterwards and talking to their friends, which makes it also better for next year. Word of mouth is still the best marketing in my opinion, and the only way to do that is to give them a nice experience.
And this is going to sound like an odd question, but I think it's important. What do you think is the best motivator, failure or success?
I think you need the fair share of both. You're never going to appreciate your successful moments if you haven't failed. It's like winning will be boring if you've never lost. You've got to have them both. You've got to, it's like yin and yang. You've got to have failed at something. I failed at something, have events that haven't worked and cancel them. But it just you learn from them. So I think you learn actually from your failures more than your success.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So I think you need both in your life.
Absolutely. So what is it you're trying to plan at the moment? Obviously, it seems to be obviously you started this properly before lockdown. Life was like a coiled spring in your hand. Yeah. And then as soon as the lockdown laws sort of relaxed a bit, that spring went panoing and everything came. Yeah. Like it's been festival. Absolutely. My Facebook is ridiculous right now. It's festival. It's this. It's that. There's that poster that went viral. That pink poster of all the noughties rock bands. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, we want this."
Yeah.
What's that been like?
It's been great. Yeah. I mean, it's come alive. I've had. And motivational-wise, it's brilliant. And not from me just putting them on. I love attending these things. Mm-hmm. I mean, I live alone, and being locked down, it was pretty hard. You're just FaceTiming people. And I had so many ideas cooking over, and I was, like you say, cold spring. So, this year we've got about 13 running events, and we've got a music event. So, and I've got so many plans for ideas. Already I'm booking new venues and for next year.
Amazing. So that is a great inspiration and a great motivator, isn't it? That there is need for these things. People want to go out and they want to party. I mean, I know there are a few issues financially at the moment with what's going on with the world, but I feel like you need to try and invest in these things when it
And there's lots of free stuff to attend. I mean, like park runs every Saturday. I usually go there and have a little run around. That's free, and there's some quite good running community there.
Yeah.
So there are lots of free events, or with most of our events, all our events, we try to have them reasonably priced, so everybody can attend. So with the Proms event, children under 10 can come in free. So we appreciate that people on the budget, and you've got the price going up for fuel, electricity, everything. So we try to provide value for money.
Yeah, good. And obviously things need to vary. Things need to be different. We can't bring madness to the quarry every 2 months.
Yeah.
Or we can't bring the same thing over and over again. What is it you possibly bring into town that people may not have seen before?
Well, my first music event is this September the 10th. It's in the West Mid Showground. It's classical music. We're doing a Proms in the Park event. So it's going to be all like your favourite classical music, Royal Britannia, Always Been England and things like that, Flower Duet, all the things you probably listen to on Classic FM or on the adverts or your favourite film scores. It's going to be sung as the evening. We've got a male voice choir singing there. We've got a 40-piece orchestra. And we've got Holly Teague, a local opera singer, sopranos, singing some of your favourite songs.
Amazing. Sorry, my as you say, this is like the pinnacle of the interview. I'm cringing right now because this is the moment we've been building up to. Let's talk about the event.
Yeah.
And my kid, who's drawing on a blackboard, just wiped his hand across it. He's now got blue hands. So Timmy, come here, buddy. Wipe your hands on there. So this is your first musical event. I'm very sorry about this. This is me parenting and trying to be a professional at the same time. Do you want to go and ask the lady if there's a toilet so you can go and wash your hands, please? Go and ask the lady. No, I don't like them like that because you make your clothes dirty. Go and ask the lady if there's a toilet, please. How much research have you had to put into putting this together? Because obviously classical is like when you speak in music and the arts, that is right up there, right?
It's viewed at that, really. I think there's sometimes a misconception it's for posh people where you have to be highbrow or super intelligent. But people will find they listen to a lot more classical music than they realise. Probably most of the music they listen to,
especially if you like Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely, Star Wars. And most modern classical music comes from film scores. Saving Private Ryan, things like that. So, people do listen to this type of music a lot, but I think it's still got that bit of an old-fashioned view. But the way we're doing it, it's trying to be accessible classical music. We're trying to gear it for people who maybe have not gone to a classical music concert before, not seen an orchestra, and this could be their first experience of going down to the West Mid Showground, summer's evening, picnic, bring a blanket, bottle of Prosecco, and you're listening to, all local artists and a local scene.
It's one of those things that I look at when movies and TV and stuff, and it seems super cliche, but always something that I always wanted to do is the Proms, where you sit with the blanket and have the picnic.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the movies, don't you?
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
Well, that's what really inspired me to do it, because I like listening to classical music. I'm from a working class background, so I didn't really go to a lot of concerts or anything when I was a kid. And I thought, well, I want to put an event on that I'd go to myself. And I'd think, well, there's a 80s concert, there's a great 90s event going on, and that's at the West Mid Showground as well. We support. There's folk festival, there's a roots festival, and we're looking at a genre of music that there was seem to be missing. And I think the classical Proms. That's ideal for Shrewsbury, the town of flowers, the culture of the town, and I think as the town centre shops tend to close and go a bit more arty and a little bit more bespoke, I think a classical music type event will be ideal for this town. It should attract people into the town as well, which would hope bring some money into the area. Nice.
One of my favourite scenes in the movie is from one of my favourite movies of all time is Warrior. It's an MMA fighting movie.
Oh yeah,
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where they're doing the training and he's playing Mozart, and it's like Mozart while training. He's like, this guy he's the jam. He swears like, well, it's very motivating. When I listen to classical, my phone is so. I was going to be really disrespectful then. It's so indecisive.
Yeah.
Right, there's so many different genres of music. We were just listening to Encanto on the way up here.
Well, I'm the same. I think you listen to the same type of music. So when people go, what type of music are you in? I'll listen to anything. You know, I like jazz, I like swing music, classical music. I really love 90s indie music, you know. To me, everybody should stop writing music after the 90s because that was pop music at its best. You know? So yeah, I'll after if this Proms goes successful, I'm turning to get Oasis to get back together, you know. I'll give you a ring when I achieve that.
I had a really interesting, my oldest son's 16, and we had a conversation, and he was like, Dad, my friends like Liam Gallagher, I need some Liam Gallagher music, give me some suggestions. I was like, what about Oasis? And he was like, who?
Oh no!
And I was like, oh no! I was listening to him earlier, and then I was giving him suggestions of BDI and Oasis and stuff, and then that's got me down the rabbit hole now, and all I'm listening to is BDI. So I host a radio show called Naughty Talk, so it's all about Naughty's music.
Oh, brilliant!
And that show as well, it kind of reflects me and my taste in music in a weird way. It starts off really funky, kind of cool, very poppy. We have these 5 songs of cheese, where it's just the cheesiest pop music, and then we have a little bit of rock, and then it ends with some great energy music, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think you need a little bit of everything. It's really important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it provides a spice of life, you know. And I think most people be coming to this concert will be people from different music backgrounds, and that's great. I mean, I plan to go to the 90s concert. I'm trying to get tickets to see Madness, and I'm going to go, you know, put the classical music on. So, you know, I want all that different types of genre.
Amazing. Give me a second, sorry. Timmy, come here, buddy. Come here. Can you look at the state of you? Oh my God, I'm really sorry. So Timmy is now a Smurf.
He's an artist.
A Smurf. Can you go and ask the lady to use the bathroom, please? And wash your hands. Right, let's take his coat off then, please. Wow, you're making me do some editing work. Right, okay. So how many hours is a day is going into planning this? It must be...
It's really hard to say to people because, when I talk to some of my friends, they think, oh, you never leave your house, you're not doing anything, or I go running, but you're constantly thinking about it.
Yes.
So, you'd be lying on the sofa, answering Facebook calls, coming up with ideas. So it's really difficult to put a number, because you don't switch off. Like I say, we do a number, we've got about 10 other runs going on, so we've got to talk to a lot of people. And I try to market everything together, because when I'm trying to promote, say, the WEM 10K, I'm also saying, oh, we also do music as well, and you're talking to as many people as you can. So yeah, I kind of tell people I'm semi-retired, and that's just to wind them up. But because I'm not, there's hours goes into this. You never turn off. You wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes you wake up in a panic. I have a recurring dream that no one comes to the music concert apart from my mum. She's going, "What time's it starting?" I'm like, well, and then I've got this dream about doing the WEM 10K, and the runners just disappear, and we never see them again ever. So you do wake up in the middle of the night thinking about these things, but then it tends to all come together in a day, and it's well worth it.
I'm glad you told me that, because there's no way of fashioning a question that doesn't sound like, what's your deepest, darkest fears? But yeah. I guess that must be quite common with someone that makes something that's accommodates so many people. I mean, like I said right at the very beginning, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, right?
Yeah.
I did a talk at Wellington Orbit. Lots of creators turned up, but I was there, and I didn't think anyone's going to turn up. And in fact, at the very beginning, there was one person sat there with me and my wife, and Timmy was there as well. He's washing his hands. Right, come sit here. Finish your milk. Come finish your milk. Right, let's put some YouTube on for you, just for a little bit. I love you being creative, and you can in a minute, but you've just washed your hands, so that would be a diabolical thing to do right now. It must be really hard to stay sane whilst planning all this.
It's
so
hard.
Much information.
It's hard on the other business I've had. You could tweak it as it went along. So if you had a product, you open your doors like the gym, you could change things around. But with events, you've got to get it bang on the day. You can't wait another year to tweak something. So yeah, it's that idea that you've only got it's weather dependent. You've got to look at what other events are going on and things like that. So you've got a small window of opportunity to get things right.
Balancing it all though is really good, especially with fitness. You do a lot of health and fitness and the runs and stuff. I guess really good for the endorphins and making sure you don't lose the plot, so to speak. Some
of the best ideas come to me when I'm running or in the gym. You feel sometimes you feel a bit depressed, a bit isolated. You go for a nice run. Some brilliant running routes around Shrewsbury. I come back motivated and I'm fresh for ideas. You know.
I need to speak to you, and there's a few other people I need to really speak to, because like I kind of really hurt my ankle a few weeks ago, but just before that happened, I was like, right, I'm going to sign up to the gym, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to go out there and get physical and active and stuff. And it's kind of part of it is going to be biting the bullet and letting people see me out there running, because that's one of my biggest fears. Is just not that people care, but in my head, everybody's
a lot of people feel the same.
Yeah.
I've known guys who are in amazing shape, but they still feel that people are looking at them and judging them, and when they look in the mirror, they don't see what everyone else is seeing. But really, when you go to the gym, most gyms are really friendly, and no one cares what you look like. And if a gym isn't very friendly, just go to a different gym. You know, if you've had a bad experience in a pub, you don't give up drinking. You just go and find a pub where the people are nice. And you know, if someone's looking at you weird or rude to you in a gym, just go down the road. The gym industry is very competitive. They want your customer, and they have to provide good customer service, which is support and like basically friendship there.
Amazing. So what is you said it was in September? The proms in the park. I'm really excited about this. I think it's great. What's the actual date of it?
It's the 10th of September at the Westminster Showground. The gates open about 6 o'clock, and then we'll start performing around 8. So we've got a great lineup. Holly's really is our artistic director, so she's put it together. It's mostly local artists who make up the orchestra. So it's a 40-piece orchestra. So it's like scratch orchestra, which means they like session musicians they brought in. So we call themselves the Proms, the Westminster Proms Orchestra. She's singing, she's a professional soprano, amazing voice. And then we've got the Shrewsbury Male Voice Choir. And I don't know if you ever heard the Shrewsbury Male Voice Choir. The sound they make, you've got like a group of 30, 40 guys together, and they'll be singing Landing Union and the graduation song from Carousel, you know, You Never Walk Alone. And, you know, to have a wall of voices backed up by a 40-piece orchestra is going to be absolutely amazing. So it's going to be a great musical experience. Really,
really powerful. I was talking about music and theatre and who was talking about it with? I was talking about how this is because I watched Mary Poppins for the first time at the weekend. Right? I'd never seen Mary Poppins.
Oh my God, it's one of my favourite films.
I know, and I did like it when I finally sat down and watched it with Timmy at the weekend. But I was saying about I went to watch Shakespeare the other day with the Shropshire Youth Theatre, and they were amazing. Absolutely fantastic. It was The Tempest. When you're in the theatre, when you're actually seeing it live in person, you kind of feel the vibrations, and that's different, right? I do like musicals, but I've got to feel it, right? So when it comes to things like the proms and that orchestra, that 40-piece orchestra, and the amazing choir voice that will just bellow out at you, you'll feel that. It sounds like it'd be a very passionate event to go to.
It's so much different listening to live performers. I mean, I love going to the theatre. Actually, a few years ago, I'd say more than a few years ago, I took a bit of sabbatical and I did a HND in performing arts. And I thought, I'll have a go acting. I had just come off a cruise ship and I liked being as a fitness instructor. And I was thinking, well, you know, I've met a lot of performers on the cruise ship, or singers and dancers. I used to be down in the gym all the time. I thought, well, I'm going to see what it's about. And I did actually have a go at a few amateur plays, and it's amazing buzz. I soon realised that I haven't got much talent, and my talent is in management, getting these people to perform rather than doing it myself. But it's an amazing buzz to do that, and it's a totally different feeling than watching someone on TV or the movie. I mean, I love going to the movies, but it's nothing like live performers, you know.
Building things though is I think, I don't know, you've got to, when it comes to like video games, for example, this is a great metaphor, rather than your Call of Duties and your FIFAs and your racing games, I'll sit and play SimCity, or I'll sit and make things and strategy games, even a Football Manager as opposed to FIFA. I don't know. There's something really cool about making something, isn't there? You know,
absolutely.
We talk about Timmy on the blackboard over there, you being an artist. These things are just fantastic because you just get the mind working, you know? Sometimes that little bit of a push is all you need.
It's like, sometimes I think some of the events, it's like I've got a madness and I'm spreading it to people. So the zombie thing is a bit of a good metaphor. You know, you bite one person, they're a zombie. So when you have an idea, it tends to grow out like a part, you know, like a bubble getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So and people talk about your ideas and then expand on it, and then you think, oh, you know, and it grows and grows. And sometimes I've said something I thought was a bad idea, and then somebody else has come back, and I've come back, and then you've got at the end of it, you've got a good event. I mean, we did a midnight run on New Year's Eve because we wanted to offer an alternative for people drinking. Nothing wrong with drinking, but I thought, well, you get a lot of pressure going out on New Year's Eve, spend a lot of money, and you wake up with a hangover. So we did a stroke of midnight, the bells of St. Chad's chime midnight, and we sent off the runners around the park. And
wow.
I mean, that come from me and Justin were like, we bought a new works diary, and he said, well, why do they list full moons in diaries in these days? And is it because there's wearables, buy diaries or something? And we were making a joke about, we should do a full moon run, and let's do a midnight one. Why not do it on New Year's Eve? So we had, I think, about 300 runners there in the park, and they started their New Year's revolution, the stroke of midnight. The first thing they did was a 5 or 10k run in the park.
Amazing. I love that you're not just like, I mean, we need those generic events, and we need them, and I love them to bits, don't get me wrong. But it's nice when someone thinks out the box and think, we're going to do zombie run through Hawkeston Park, or we're going to do a run through New Year's. That's fantastic. I think that's really good, thinking outside the box. What's it like being you walking around the streets thinking, oh, that's a great idea, we're going to do this? You must have to stop yourself from having ideas, right?
Well, it's weird because it's kind of a mixture of I see someone else's idea and I'm gutted, why didn't I think of that? And then I think of you get an idea and think, will it work and stuff? So it's great. So a lot of the time these ideas come to me when I've had a couple of drinks, I'm not going to lie to you, or when I'm exercising. When you sit down in the room and think, I must come up with an idea, that's when you can't. That's when you get the writer's block, and that's when nothing comes. When you force yourself, they've got to come organically. It's all in the back of your going. Sometimes I've had dreams, and that's inspired me to do things as well. You know?
I'm struggling at the moment with a bit of imposter syndrome with something I've planned, and I am planning. It's just taking me a long time, because when it comes to booking dates and things like that, I don't know what it is, right? This is like Alex's corner. Yeah. Sit down with Alex. But sometimes it's like making a date or booking an event or making something work. It's kind of like, well, that's not going to work. There's this little thing inside my head. Do you ever get that?
Absolutely. And I think that's normal. And I think if you didn't get that, that would be worrying. There's a thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's when people are overconfident, and they realise they're overconfident is they don't know enough to know that it's a big subject they're going into. So basically it boils down to they're too stupid to realise they're stupid. I know that sounds a harsh way of putting it. And I bet you've met a lot of people who are like, yeah, I can do that, and they've done no background, and they've done no preparation, no research. The people who feel nervous, they go, oh, will this work? You're going to go online, you're going to start reading, you're going to talk to people, you're going to talk to consultants, you're going to get the dummy's guide to marketing and things, and you're going to sit down and put time. So I'm always a bit wary now that if I don't feel like I'm an imposter, if I don't feel like it's not going to work, that have I overstepped into that other area of being overconfident and blinded by your own success? So,
blinded by your own success. That's a really nice thing. That's not a nice thing.
That's
It's a great way of putting it. It's a great way of putting it, for sure. Because I do want to do stuff with audio, but what I started doing is I started going, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do this. I want to do that. I'll make sure I've got that for you. And, a big shout out to Carl from KG Theatre. I said to him I'd make a vlog. And we did. We turned up with cameras, took some great pictures, and Tim was doing a bit of theatre and stuff. And this vlog, I didn't write a shot list. I didn't write an order of sequence, like what I wanted. So we just recorded loads of random videos. And this was during the storms at the beginning of the year. Yeah. I still haven't got this vlog made, and I keep saying to him, I'm really, really sorry. Like there's this event, and there's this content I need to make, and there's this and that, and then I kind of nearly broke my ankle, and it was just a nightmare. So we've put together a plan where we're going to reshoot it in an order that makes sense. But that was me having too much ambition, I guess.
As I say, you're always going to get that. As long as it doesn't put you off, all it's made you do is really just manage your time better. So you've learned from it, haven't you?
Yeah, of course.
And you're going to get there in the end. So it's probably valuable. And I'd put that value over going and studying at university for 3 years and coming out with 70 grand debt and still have no work experience. So you doing that, it's cost you probably zero money. You've just had a really valuable experience on management and how to manage your time and event management.
It's like what you were saying earlier, right at the beginning of the interview. When it comes to failure and success, you need a bit of both, don't you? Because the biscuit is fairly successful. There are people talking about it around the country, which is nice. But at the same time, there's times when I've effed up. I've got to make a bit of an edit of myself in some degree somehow. But it's a really good learning experience. And when it comes to becoming a success, I feel like you need to do that. And you've been doing this for, say, how long have you been doing this?
Well, the first event was about 10 that I organised was about 10 years ago.
So you've had that experience, and now you're about to unleash the proms in the park in Shrewsbury. And
already I'm talking to for venues next year, because with events, because things book up, and I'm saying you've got to book orchestras and things, you've got to think at least 12 months ahead, or sometimes 2 years ahead. So I'm already talking to venues in Chester and in Cheltenham, because we want to tour it. And then next year as well, we're planning to put a local event on called Mass Choir, where we're going to invite like 25 local community choirs all to sing again together. And what I want is about 1,000 voices on the stage, all singing together. I mean, I'm a member of a local choir, community choir, the Bella Voices. I'm not very good. I'm at the back going.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. You don't give yourself enough credit.
The rest of them are good. But we and I think that's so. Next year we've got like at least 4 music events, and I think the Mass Choir is going to be again probably the West Mid. Maybe we're looking at venues for that, and then we're going to be touring the proms.
And this is the thing that I learned this way before lockdown. I spoke to the guys from the Flower Show. And talk about how much goes into planning an event.
Oh, yeah.
It's right from the very. You've got to almost predict the weather. You've got to all the. It's a gamble, huge gamble.
It's hard because you're always going to know there's something you can't predict. So you've always got to allow yourself on the day to have a spare person to the firefighting or something that's unforeseen.
Taking a picture of my boy doing art. See, this is what I'm doing today, guys. The kids are off school, and I'm being dad and podcaster at the same time. Thank you very much. What we need to do is, obviously, we've got a couple of months left before this goes. We need to think of a way of getting the word out. Maybe we can... how's the relationship building up between you and the musicians?
It's great. It mainly comes through Holly, because she's the musician, and I think musicians would rather talk to musicians. Holly, because so she's building an orchestra. Every musician in the local area seems to know her. So she's building that, and I've not got the skills to listen to a violinist and know they're good or bad, or to me everyone's great.
Do a Simon Cowell thing.
So I'm not going to even pretend them. I really respect them. They work so hard, and a lot of them, even though they may have day jobs as teachers and things, that they are professional standard. Most of them have got like master's degrees in their particular area. So they are professionals, and they are dying to do something locally, because a lot of time they'll have to travel to Birmingham or to London to perform, and they love the fact there's going to be something like this that they can, and locally, that their family and friends can come along to, and that they perform. So we've got a lot of support from local musicians.
I'm really happy about that. And the West Midlands Showground as well. It's a great venue, right?
It's amazing. And the guys down there, the managers, have been really supportive. So I'm saying anybody out there, if they're interested in doing events, really talk to those. I mean, like I say, I do like loads of different types of events. We sometimes partner up to people. If anybody ever needs some advice, or they want to do something with us, get in touch. I'll have a chat. Something might come of it, it might not. But I can just maybe point you in the right direction of the people you need to talk to. So if anybody wants some advice from putting an event on, I think it's really just you've got to be bold, grab it with 2 hands, and then get stuck in. Really,
Absolutely. I have an idea. I'd love to bring like live podcasts to Shrewsbury. Hollywood Babylon is one of my favourite things in the world. If you've never heard of Hollywood Babylon, it's a live podcast at the Improv. Well, it's moved now, with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, and they had like the audience, and they come and do their funny stuff, almost like fart jokes and stuff, with Kevin Smith humour. But the vibe in the room is just really, really good, and I'd love to do that and bring that to Shrewsbury, and bring a guest and do an interview in front of an audience, do a Q&A, that sort of thing.
I think it'd be great, like a comedy club type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think there'd be a lot of bars would love that.
I don't think I'd make it family friendly. I think we'd have to do like Biscuit Uncut, something like that.
After Watershed,
That'd be awesome though. Have a few.
I think that would work. Yeah.
Well, they did the sidebars. It was amazing for the Darwin Festival a couple of years ago. They were doing science lectures in bars and things, and it was fantastic. And I was like, "There's no way this could work!" Haha! And then we went to the Alb, and they filled upstairs, filled it up, and there was this guy doing science. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think those things are. There's a lot of people are interested in these type of genres. I mean, one of my geeky hobbies at weekends, I go metal detecting, and like metal tech.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And you'd be surprised how many people, middle-aged men normally, dressed in khaki, turn up on a field in the middle of nowhere to go out treasure hunting. So these things, there is like a community that will come along to these things. So
one of my favourite things to watch on Facebook is the Bondi treasure hunter guy. He has the magnet fishing thing.
I do a bit of magnet fishing now.
You find much on that?
Magnet fishing, loads of rusty stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the gateway drug into metal detecting, because you do it for a few times and you think, I'm going to, spend a few quid in metal detector, and your metal detector gets more expensive as you do it more and more. But yeah, it's great fun, and you're clearing all the rubbish out of the river as well, which I like.
Yeah, there was a problem with down in the Rebrook, because they were there were people turn up doing it, but leaving up all the garbage on the side.
You've got to drag it and take it away. That's part of it with me,
I think this is fantastic what you're doing. I love that you've got events and you've got these tried and tested methods of putting things together that they're completely outside the box.
Thank you.
What's been the response? I mean, obviously we've got a while yet, but are people eager for this?
Absolutely. Every time I talk about proms, people were like, that sounds great, that sounds lovely. All I get is, this is what the town needs. This goes with what the town wants to be, the coffee shop culture, the quirky coffee shops, the little boutique shops, and we want to turn into a venue town. And I'm hearing this from people from all different backgrounds, from working class up to the richer people of the town. Everybody seems to be a bit of a leveler. I was worried about, first of all, people there think it's going to be posh or something, but it's not. The most excited people about it are, say, like normal guys normal people want to bring their family and expose them to some a different genre of music, some classical music, in a nice, friendly atmosphere, without getting a tuxedo on or going to a posh event.
You need to have that diversity in music. It can't just all be pop music or rock music. I was in Frankville, or Albert and Co, the old poorhouse.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we went to watch Chris Ramsey at the 7, and they were playing lo-fi music in there. With decks. There was a guy there, probably, and I was just like, "This is so beautiful." Yeah. That's the kind of stuff you listen to in a hotel lobby. Do you know what I mean? But it's very good to have that, the ability to go and listen to classic music, or choose to go here or choose to go there. You need to at least have it, don't you?
Yeah, and I like. There's more and more live music happening in Shrewsbury, and we've got the Albert Shed's really great for that. But really, some of the smaller pubs, they're putting music on, every Friday, Saturday night. It's brilliant. And one of the best concerts I listen to is there's an Ibiza Proms, where they play classical Ibiza type music, but with classical music style. So it shows you how the two genres can come together.
Amazing. So where can people find you on social media?
Well, if you just Google or Shrewsbury Proms in the Park, you'll find a link. Or if you put Westmoreland Zombie Run, you'll find a link to a race page. So we call ourselves Run UKAC for the runnings. If you're interested in Basin Hill, Church Stretton, and with the Wellington 10K, we'll come up on that link. But for Shrewsbury Proms in the Park, just type in Shrewsbury Proms, and then we'll come up. There'll be a link there, and there's going to be lots of posters going around town. And I'd like to thank you for having me today. And
no, anytime.
Out there, it's really great. And
if there's any way we can help out, if we can maybe come along to the event and bring some cameras and some mic, that'd be amazing.
Any event we do, you're welcome to come along, film it, and bring your life.
Let's do another podcast closer to the event, and we'll bring Holly along.
Absolutely,
we can do it virtually. We'll get it on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And we'll find out more about the artists, obviously, and what people can expect. But yeah, it's been lovely speaking to you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Forward to seeing you again.
And you. Hello, so I'm Alex. We spoke on Facebook. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit, obviously. And this is how long has this been open for?
So we opened just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's been going really well so far.
Yeah. And what's your name? Sorry.
I'm Nikki.
Nikki.
Yeah.
And is this your first time opening a cafe or business?
It's actually not. It's my second. So my first cafe is in Chester, and it's a similar vibe. So we've got the it's Cups brand, so we use the same coffee and all that sort of stuff, same suppliers. But we're board games focused. So we have a big board game room. You can come play games. It's really great fun.
Fantastic. When obviously Nerdy Coffee first opened up, it was my first experience of board. No, there was one. I'm pretty sure there was one. Someone's probably going to correct me on the show. There was one in Pride Hill. I'm pretty sure in Shrewsbury that was board games. that was probably something to do with Tom, actually. I don't know. But yeah, it's an amazing idea. We went to one and we played board games and we had a really good day. Me, Timmy, and the wife. It's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it's just really great fun. Super sort of, inclusive of everybody, which is fabulous. We have loads of kids stuff, but there's also, we've got lots of students obviously in Chester, so that's really nice, and kind of bringing people together. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this obviously this drew my attention because I was chatting to Shane Chebsey, who's doing Comic Salopia.
Sure.
And obviously they've been doing lots of stuff around this part of town.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, good Cups is great. They encourage creators. It's all for creators and stuff." What made you sort of tap into that the creative vibe?
So for me, I think I need to be kept entertained. I need to be, I'm very all over the place. So I didn't really want to just do the same thing and do that. And what I wanted to do was where I set up another one, I wanted to fit in with the community and I wanted to go what do they value and put things together. So, and in Shrewsbury, independents are really well valued and I think that's fantastic. So I wanted to kind of push that and extend that a little further. So we do obviously our creators wall, which is kind of independent businesses, local makers, creators.
Almost like a gallery. If you make something locally, you can sell it from
That's
here,
exactly
right?
it. And we give you a space to sell. We do pop-up shops and all this sort of stuff as well. And you can use the space as a creative space. So you can use it to come and do a bit of crafting, a bit of whatever else you want to do, get a group together.
That's a really good idea, actually, because there's so many people they did the open studios here a few years ago, and it was where you could come and watch the artists make their thing, and it was really cool. We set up a studio. It was the first place we ever set up a mobile studio. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And we got to sit and watch. I was next to FB, who's an amazing cartoonist, next to me, and I get to sit and watch her be brilliant. Well, I'm not.
Right.
But it's great to see, isn't it?
It is. It's fascinating. It's watching people do things that I can't do is absolutely amazing to me. So
Tell me about it. I'm the biscuit guy. I get to watch people be successful.
Yeah.
Hey, and then they talk about it. But I love that. I love hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
And coffee shops in Shrewsbury, they're famous for people coming, talking, and it's life. That's life. People sharing stories and gossip and
absolutely,
whatever.
yeah.
It's the best place for it. And if you had a creative vibe to that, that's where inspiration happens.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I think especially, we found over the first few...
Timmy, get down off the stool. They're for sitting, not for standing. Sorry.
No, it's all right. We found over the first few months that we've already got this really lovely regular base, and we've got, people that just love coming and doing exactly that, creating this community, chatting, and we actually get to know people, which is lovely, rather than being some kind of faceless.
And I love that, at the beginning of this podcast, the kids in the background, there was the grinder going,
yeah.
People chat. No, I love that. Yeah. I think that is Shrewsbury.
Sure.
You need to sample that. There are so many things that scream about this town that just so built into the people here. And Phil Gillam is the ex-mayor, has created this new book celebrates Shrewsbury, and I was like, okay, let's go find somewhere that screams Shrewsbury to do this interview. So we're going to go do it on the Sabrina boat. There's so many things, and coffee shop, the coffee culture here, especially in the summer, when you can bring the tables out and everybody's out there. I'm glad this place exists, and thank you for looking out for creators. I'm a creator of sorts,
Absolutely, it all counts.
Have you got anything coming up that you want to tell people about? Any events that you're going to hold here?
So we're hopefully starting our Sunday session soon, which is going to be like a little musical afternoon on a Sunday. So we'll have live performers.
Wow!
It'll be a kind of just come and play when there's a time, and you don't need to book or pay or anything like that. It's just a kind of, again, bringing this different community together.
Nice.
And really supporting lots of different creators and lots of different, creators, as you said, all look different and they all, do different things, which again is something that we want to celebrate. So we will be starting those hopefully soon, hopefully at the end of this month, beginning of next month. So
amazing. We'll have to keep in touch, because you'll know people and I'll know people, and we can exchange notes and what have you. So that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on social media and stuff?
So we are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we are Cups, Coffee and Creators on everything. Keep it simple. So we're easy to find. You can get in touch with us via email if you still do that, which is cupscoffeeandcreators@mail.com. But yeah, just pop in, say hi. That's
And the other place in Chester, if anybody's that way, what's the same?
So it's the same. It's Cups, Coffee, and Board Games. So again, on all the same.
But in Chester, not Shrewsbury. But it doesn't matter because
Chester.
if you're looking for cups in Shrewsbury and you're looking for cups in Chester, you're going to find one. All right.
Exactly.
So, thank you for chatting to me.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you for letting me do this here today as well. It's been really cool.
More than welcome.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Cheers. Bye.